It's a standoff at the Coyote Pass final showdown.
Hey, welcome back to Truth and TLC, the only network that burrows deeper and brings you the stories the network won't touch. What you're about to hear is not another recap. This is the behind-the-scenes story of the moment that sealed Kody Brown's last grip of power. A moment so surprising, so heartbreaking, that even his strongest advocate, Robyn, remained speechless. Imagine this: a crowded courtroom in Flagstaff, Arizona. Reporters packed onto the benches, sister wives' fans' neck creaking to catch a glimpse of the spectacle. Christine and Janelle Brown seated side by side. On one side of the aisle, a somber solidarity built through years of betrayal. On the other, Kody and Robyn, hands locked together, eyes flashing, aware the walls were closing in. This was not merely a lawsuit. This was not merely about money. This was the reckoning Brown v. Brown. The case that tore down the carefully constructed facade of the polygamous patriarch and laid bare the empire of deceit beneath. For weeks, we've seen testimony that peeled back layers of financial manipulation, emotional cruelty, and outright deceit. We've seen Christine and Janelle's lawyers hammer away at the paper trail, exposing secret accounts, hidden LLCs, and a lifestyle of luxury that Robyn enjoyed while the other wives struggled. We've heard witnesses, even family members, reveal the toxic reality behind closed doors, and clinging to it all the way is Kody's final defense. A narrative he iterated as a mantra, in an attempt to make the jury believe that he wasn't a schemer but a misunderstood devout man. He asserted that all of it, the transfers, the secrecy, the restrictions, the rules, was done for the sake of protecting the family. That being the patriarch gave him the right to make decisions that others may not get. That his heart, though flawed, was always in the right place. But not today. Today, the judge was having none of it. Today, the courtroom was in an uproar when that last defense, the last bulwark Kody had standing, was taken away. The verdict was shocking, and it made no mistake where justice fell. Before we enter that moment, before we walk through that verdict that brought down Kody's empire, you know the drill. If you're tired of the lies, the gaslighting, the constant excuses, if you think Christine and Janelle are owed their truth being finally heard, smash that like button until it's a deep blue. Subscribe to Truth and TLC, and ring that bell so you don't miss 1 second of this explosive report. Because I promise you, what's about to drop is going to have you shaking your head in shock. Okay, you've done it. Thanks. Now, let's dive in. In order to appreciate why the judge's decision was so crushing, we must flash back. We must examine how Kody constructed his final defense and how Christine's attorney dismantled it bit by bit until it stood nothing. And when we do, you'll understand why this moment was not merely a legal loss. It was the symbolic death of Kody Brown's ego as the patriarch, the leader, the man who never seemed to think he ever didn't get the last word. But first, let's put the stage setting on what Christine's attorney dubbed the biggest act of courtroom drama the Browns have ever perpetrated. Retention booster. You're not ready for what was revealed next. Because when the judge asked Kody one simple question, his entire story collapsed in real time. To comprehend the outrage of the judge's decision, let us go back to the tattered shield Kody was holding onto. His last defense had not been constructed of papers or facts. It had not been constructed of reason or numbers. It was constructed of performance, of the notion that if he spoke convincingly enough, if he framed himself as a besieged man, the court would sympathize with him. He explained to the jury repeatedly that he was a patriarch, a man attempting to keep together a family that was falling apart because of outside pressures. He explained that Christine and Janelle misinterpreted him, that they resented his authoritarian role, and that the money transfers, the hidden accounts, even the stringent rules, were intended to keep the family intact. To him, he was the victim of betrayal, a husband left behind by wives who never grasped his burden. At first, part of the gallery considered whether this emotional appeal would take hold. He towered over the witness box, his voice getting louder with each sentence. He wiped at his eyes. He declared that the world had distorted the truth, that he was being turned into a monster when all he ever wanted was to safeguard his wives and children. But Christine's attorney, A cool and dogged woman who had spent weeks deconstructing his narrative wasn't moved. She understood that this was not about feelings, it was about facts. When her turn came, she didn't shout. She didn't act. She just went to the middle of the courtroom, stared the jury straight in the eye, and posed one annihilating question. If all Kody did was for the family, then why did every choice, every dollar, every alleged sacrifice somehow look to serve only him and Robyn? That one question hung there like smoke. Kody clenched his jaw, his mouth hardening. Robyn tightened her grip on his hand, her eyes blurring, her lips shaking. But the room was silent, and everyone understood the answer without a single word needing to be said. And then the cross-examination. Christine's attorney led Kody through a stack of papers, bank transfers, agreements, LLC documents. Every time he attempted to object, she gently told him these were his signatures, his accounts, his choices. The more he talked, the more pitiful his tale sounded. He claimed he didn't recall. He claimed he was deceived. He claimed Christine and Janelle were distorting things. But the documents didn't listen to excuses. Desperation was the defense's final card. Robyn's attorney rose, attempting to plead that Kody had acted in good faith, that he had merely made errors in stress. It was a messy family squabble, not fraud, he said. He portrayed Christine and Janelle as spurned women out for vengeance, but the judge interrupted him, leaned forward in his chair. His voice was a blade, cutting through the air of the courtroom like the sound of a gavel falling. He instructed the lawyer to sit down, instructed Kody that excuses regarding faith and family counted for nothing when the evidence indicated deception, concealment, and manipulation. The verdict that came was shocking to the entire courtroom. It wasn't merely a dismissal of Kody's account. It was a pronouncement that the foundation of his defense was false, retention booster. What the judge then said didn't simply close the book on Kody's case, it closed the book on his legacy. Because in a single brief utterance, the courtroom heard the words that took away from him all that he believed made him inviolable. The courtroom was thick with silence, the kind that makes each breath, each rustle of paper, each heartbeat louder than it needs to be. Kody sat stiff, his face pale but unyielding, his knee jerking under the table. Robyn gripped his arm, her eyes flicking back and forth between the judge and the jury, hoping to find the sympathy that wasn't there. The judge cleared his throat and pushed his glasses up his nose, regarding the stack of papers on the desk in front of him. His voice was calm when he spoke, but there was no gentleness in it. Mr. Brown, he started off, the court has heard your version. We have heard your books, your witnesses, and given you every chance to mount a defense. What we see, and what the jury sees, isn't the image of a man attempting to safeguard his family. What we see is a man attempting to safeguard himself. A ripple spread through the gallery. Kody's jaw clenched, and for the first time, he was genuinely cornered. The judge went on. You've claimed that each decision, each payment, each regulation you made was for the benefit of your family, but the facts indicate otherwise. Money that should have been deposited into common family accounts was diverted into private accounts. Regulations that were to be uniformly applied were singly applied to serve you and your desired household. This is not leadership. This is manipulation. Christine and Janelle sat very still, the face of their lawyer unreadable but her back straight. For them, this was no surprise. It was the validation of what they had been aware of for years. For the jury, it was a thunderclap of understanding. Kody attempted to cut in, leaning forward in his chair. Your Honor, with all respect, the judge cut him off with a sharp rap of the gavel. Sit down, Mr. Brown. You've spoken enough. The words rang through the room. Robyn's shoulders slumped, her practiced tears seeming suddenly useless. Kody leaned back, staring at the ceiling as though searching for some divine rescue that wasn't coming. The judge stared at him once more. The court is not convinced by sentimental appeals or arguments of misinterpreted faith. What is important in this case are the facts. And the facts are incriminating. Your last line of defense is no defense whatsoever. It fails on its own inconsistencies. At that moment, the room seemed to exhale in unison. Reporters wrote furiously. Some jurors smiled knowingly. Christine's attorney laid a calming hand on Janelle's arm. The judge's voice was absolute. This court finds your defense to be completely without merit. It is hereby struck from the record. Those words meant more than a court decision. They were a symbolic bulldozing. The last shield Kody had remaining was lost, and along with it, his whole identity as patriarch and guardian. Retention booster. But if the judge's words had shaken the courtroom, what followed broke it in two. Because Christine's attorney wasn't finished. She had one final card to play, one that revealed not only Kody's deceit, but the hidden Robyn had struggled to keep under wraps.